to kind of, get on here and talk about this because I just feel like it frustrates me seeing certain artists just get hate for no reason. It's like the internet just always wants to see him fail no matter what. I just hate bandwagon narratives. Like, I just hate when people are just hating just because it's cool.
Right.
Like, to me, it gets corny after a while. Especially because it's like you can tell these are people that don't really listen to the music.
Right.
Like, these are people, the same people that are hating on an artist today because it's cool. They were listening to that artist and they were vibing to that music when that artist was up and that artist was relevant. Look, I promise you, the same people that hate on Polo now, the same people they were listening to Rap Star when it first came out. LATD, what is good, y'all? We are back here once again with another video. As always, I am RG from the A43. And, business as usual, joined by my co-host.
It's your boy King J. How y'all boy doing, man?
Yes, sir.
And y'all
yes,
girl, how y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Yes, back to it. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. So today we're going to be discussing, something that's kind of been on my heart for a while, as a huge hip-hop fan. I'm always paying attention to what's going on in the culture. And so POLO G just recently dropped a new album. And, I don't think POLO G needs any introduction at one time. He was one of the hottest young rappers coming up in the game. Praised for his lyrical ability, his versatility, and just seemingly his ability to attack any kind of production, any kind of subject matter. He could rap over trap and drill beats, but he could also do something melodic like Martin and Gina. That was a big hit. And everything seemed to generally be going well for Polo until around mid 2021 when he dropped his album Hall of Fame. Now, from what I've heard, a lot of people don't like Hall of Fame. I never really listened to it like that. As though, in spite of me being a Polo G fan, I never really listened to it much.
I never listened to him at all.
Well, I mean, you might need to change that. His first two albums, tough.
Right.
Hall of Fame, like I said, I can't speak for it that.
Is he better than Jordan Lucas?
He might be, in my opinion, to be honest with you.
Well, how you know? You ain't never listened to him.
That is fair.
Exactly.
But, so I would say everything kind of changed when it came to his perception because, like I said, at one point he was praised as kind of the new up-and-coming lyrical talent that's going to lead the new generation, especially once Juice passed. That 2020-ish, 2021 range was like seen as Polo, Roddy, Youngboy, Baby. Like, those were supposed to be the guys. Da Baby was supposed to be the guys that kind of sort of carried rap into the new era.
And truth be told, a lot of them fell off.
Yep, and that brings me to really the whole topic of this video, because with Polo G, an internet narrative started going around that all his beats and production sounded similar. They started using the term Piano G, and once that narrative got started, it really derailed his career. He pretty much overnight went from being one of the most celebrated artists in the genre up and coming to just receiving a whole bunch of hate, and just overnight the whole narrative and trajectory of his career turned simply because of this one, internet idea that was spread about him. Now, I'm not saying that there wasn't credibility to that idea, just for the fact that if you do look at Polo, a lot of his beats and a lot of his production are low-key the same.
I'll listen to him and give you my consensus on that.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like the thing about him, honestly, is that he's still talented. I feel like there was criticism to be had, but I think that the internet kind of took that idea and kind of made it into this, we're just going to hate this person. And, I feel like, and this brings me to my point where I think that once an artist gets to a point to where, people just start wanting to hate on them for no reason, it's very, very difficult for them to kind of change that narrative and get people back on their side. Because look at what happened to Roddy.
Look what happened to no, Roddy Ricch is a way better example than Chance the Rapper, because Roddy Ricch was essentially like Polo G, as at least the way you describe him.
He was in that same peer group.
Right, exactly. He was everywhere at the time. Like, forgive me for being antisocial.
Please excuse me for being antisocial, but close enough.
Either A for effort. But anyway, yeah, please excuse me for being antisocial. Did I say it right this time?
Yes, there you go.
Right, cool. Yeah, that was one of his best, easily his best album. I mean, then again, that ain't really saying a lot.
I think that was his only album at the time.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't think that's really saying a lot.
But it was a very good project.
Oh yeah, it was
very
great
good project.
But the next thing you know, he drops like a couple bad tracks, and next thing you know, he's just out of the limelight altogether.
I wouldn't say it was so much a couple of bad songs. I mean, that was in part, but this was after he dropped his 2021 album, Live Life Fast. And I remember when this album was first coming out, senior year at Coastal. Ain't no chance up for whatever, Chance up, there you go. I'm tripping, I'm tired, but...
All good.
No, but... So, I remember when that album was coming out and, he was rolling it out, and the hype was massive because it was kind of seen as sort of like him officially getting the torch as far as leading the new generation, and the album wasn't well received at all. A lot of people felt that the album... he gave a lot of weak performances. The production wasn't great. And to be honest with you, I do agree with a lot of those criticisms. But my issue with the internet is that once an artist drops what is perceived to be a bad or even mid project, a lot of the times people take that and they make it into more than what it is. And it goes from actively wanting to see the artist succeed to now because they drop they drop one bad album, now we want to hate on this artist and we don't want to even give them a chance to develop,
right,
and give them a chance to really find their footing again. Because if you look at a lot of the old rappers from back in the day, they had mixtape after mixtape to develop, hone their skills, get better over time. And so now with social media and how everything is so fast, it's kind of this "what have you done for me lately" culture where it's like, you drop one bad single. Oh no, you was my most listened to artist of last year, but you dropped one song that I didn't like. So now, basically you're trash and you fell off.
Right, and another example I got is Chance the Rapper. Now, granted, he kind of didn't help his situation considering that he kind of just took the criticism to heart and then naturally, but took it to heart and then didn't really try to bounce back. But it was the same case with him with The Big Day. Because he dropped two classic mixtape albums, depending on what you want to call them. Yeah, they were two classics regardless, like with Acid Rap and Coloring Book.
Yes, sir.
Two albums that I love to this day. He was my favorite rapper back in like
my favorite rappers
back in like 2015, 2014. And The Big Day, I didn't really listen to the album, but when I saw like Anthony Fantano and Sean C and all of them, shout out to them.
Yeah,
I saw the reviews on it, and I'm gonna be real. I'm like, damn, it was that bad, huh? And then I listened to some of it. I'm like, okay,
it wasn't great.
Okay, I'm like, it was okay, but he can bounce back from this. But the next thing you know, you hear nothing from Chance.
Yeah,
you hear nothing from him. He's but now as of late, there's been like recent news with him possibly dropping more music, so I hope so. And apparently he got a divorce from his wife, so maybe that's what
ironically
maybe that's what's going to help his music career,
Because I think what it is now is that if you make an album that people don't like, now people like actively, it's like a witch hunt to like get that artist out of there. Like it's like
right.
we want this artist to fail. No, and the problem is that once an artist ends up being in that category, there's no critical room for nuance anymore. Now it's just, oh, well, regardless of what that artist does, you're going to have people that are actively going to hate on them and actively not want to see them succeed, regardless of whether the music is actually quality or not.
I'm going to be honest. I hope I'm not one of those people, because I know I talk about certain artists on this channel a lot. And this is not me trying to say that I want their careers to go down in flames. This is just me giving my opinion, saying that the music isn't good.
Yeah, no, which that's understandable if you're not a fan of it. But I think that the internet takes it to a level to where it's like, because it's cool to hate on the artist because it's perceived as, the punching bag or whatever the case may be, there's no room for nuance anymore. So like Polo G's album, I remember Polo G was making the rounds for this album, and he did an interview with $1 Million Worth of Game, and I remember in the comment sections you had people saying stuff, because Polo in the interview he said that in 2021 around that time he was one of the biggest rappers in the world, which is 100% true.
Facts.
Because if you look at Rap Star and you just look at how he was moving back then, he was 100% in conversation as one of the artists that was supposed to carry the new generation. But one of the top comments I saw under the post was, oh, well, you know, he's just saying that he don't even believe that because he's stuttering. So it's just stuff like that where it's like the internet actively gives you doesn't want to give you the benefit of the doubt. They want to see you fail no matter what. I think that it's just kind of like, it's unfortunate growing, like being a rapper or an artist in this generation, because it's like an internet narrative really can kill your career.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because Roddy, his last project, it was in 2022. It was Feed the Streets 3, which Feed the Streets 2, a lot of people consider to be one of his better, if not his best project. So with Feed the Streets 3, there was some understandable hype there, but when it came out, it flopped because the narrative had been so strong that he had fell off and everybody was hating on him to the point to where it was just like that impacted his sales, because you know it's a very hive-like mentality online. If you see a bunch of people hating on an artist, you know it's a snowball effect. When it rains, it pours when it comes to hate for these artists. And Roddy, he went from being, I think, 50-something million monthly listeners on Spotify to now, I think he's got maybe 20 at most. He's nowhere near as talked about as he used to be.
No.
Just dropped a song a month or so ago that people really liked, but it wasn't talked about like that. It wasn't discussed.
Like, truth be told, this happened to the baby too, especially after his concert when he said those choice words about the parking lot.
Oh yeah,
if you know, you know.
Yeah, that for sure happened to the baby. Yeah,
but truth be told, after he started falling off, I kind of started appreciating his music a tad bit more. Yeah. Everything I said about him was true. All the criticisms that he got as far as like his style and the simple fact that he never changed it up and stuff like that, I started those came true. But I still started appreciating him a little bit more as like an artist and a rapper, because after he dropped a bunch of his freestyles, I'm like, he might be making a comeback. Like he might,
low key, yeah.
But now it's just kind of staggered, you know. Because that media thing that he did, that announcement that he made at that concert, is going to follow him for the rest of his life. That
was a bad look for him. He even did the Shannon Sharp interview where he said that he doesn't regret anything except for what he said on stage, which I would regret too, because he lost. Right. I don't even know how much money.
Exactly, because the thing is with the internet, a lot of the times perception is reality. And if them jokers online see you as this one thing, you gonna stay at that one thing at least until you clear your name. But that's not gonna happen for the next 10 years.
And that's the problem, is that now it's just like you can't make a mistake or you can't have a bad album without people just actively wanting to see you fail just because it's cool. And I think the problem is that a lot of these people that think like this aren't real fans of the art form and aren't real fans of the music. They just go with whatever narrative is popular at the time.
Exactly.
So you're just gonna
go ahead. Sorry.
No, you good. So you're gonna see these hate waves and things like that happen. And not to say that there aren't certain artists that maybe kind of like are a victim of like their own making to a degree as far as certain things that they say,
like the Baby and Jans.
But I feel like Polo just never really did anything to deserve the hate that he gets, because you know the thing about him is that there's this Piano G narrative he makes. Oh, his music sounds the same, this, that, and the third, whatever the case may be. You don't see that energy for Gunna. Right. And Gunna's music sounds all the same too.
Exactly.
So it's literally the internet playing favorites and the internet being like, oh, we hate this artist because of one thing, but the same thing another artist does, well, we're not gonna hold him accountable.
People try to do the same thing with Tupac. Honestly.
What do you mean?
As far as like trying to say that, oh, he really wasn't that good of a rapper when he was still alive. I mean, people try, but then you had a whole wave of people who love Tupac, like
influenced and inspired by him.
Exactly. Who really just take up from him, and then a lot of people just ended up, okay, well, it's not worth trying to put this dude's rapping skill down in the dirt. You know what I'm saying? No more, because Snoop Dogg said that he's a classic. Well, he is a classic, but Kendrick Lamar said that he's a big inspiration.
The biggest inspiration.
Exactly. So it's like people try to do that with Pac. People try to do that with Biggie. People try to do that with a lot of other rappers, Jay-Z, Nas. But they had such a big cult following. It's like you said, people just kind of backed off when I'm after doing that.
I feel like that's also because like nowadays it's different from what it was back then. Like I said, back then it's like if you had, it was like you had to go through a gauntlet where you were developing your sound, developing your skill. That's why a lot of those artists' best albums came maybe the second or third or fourth album, because do we even remember the name of Tupac or Tupac's first album? Do we really remember the name of his first album? But everybody knows Me Against the World and All Eyes on Me. And that was like albums 4 and 5. So the thing is that if he had dropped mediocre music before, which a lot of people say he did, but he eventually achieved his artistic stride, if he was in this era now, he might not even get the chance to show what he really could become.
Exactly.
Because people are just so eager for this. You have to drop classic album or great album after great album. They don't want to see people actually take time to develop their sound and their skill and their style.
Exactly.
That now it's just to the point to where, you drop one bad album, you're a failure.
Right. It's like an NFL. It's like having a bad NFL season. Yeah. One bad season, boom, you're done.
And it's unfortunate. Like, I feel bad for a lot of these rappers because it's just like, especially somebody like Polo, like I said, Roddy. Like, these are guys that never really did anything to deserve the hate that they get.
Right.
But for whatever reason, the internet, and the thing is that once you become the internet's punching bag, a lot of the times they don't want to see you out of that position. They want to keep you as, the guy that we can make fun of, right, regardless of like whatever skill or what talent or whatever song that they drop to show that they're still valid as an artist.
Yeah, T-Pain became that guy too at one point.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, after the whole death of auto-tune thing with the Blueprint 3.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, when he played himself on that stage with Jay-Z, and Jay-Z's like, "Good riddance," like y'all know. But he became that guy after a while, and because everybody was so mad about him using auto-tune, and even Usher said it. Even Usher said, "I thank God that they made up after that." And
I remember that story. Yeah,
but yeah, Usher saying that he messed up music for real singers, and I'm like, golly. And, and the crazy part is T-Pain can actually sing. Yeah. Without auto-tune.
And what's crazy, I remember this. T-Pain said that he went into like a years-long depression because like that was the start of like a years-long depression when he told him that.
Or I guess it was more like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Probably, yeah.
Because even before that, he had so much of criticism because of all the auto-tune and everything. He said the only friends that he had around that time was Neo and Chris Brown. Yeah. It happens to a lot of people. I'm glad he bounced back now.
For sure, because now T-Pain is appreciated for what he brought to the table because his style is just so enduring and is so influential. I mean, you look at Trav, Kanye, of course. So a lot of the people that we give credit to as far as the auto-tune and their style, T-Pain paved the way for that. So
exactly, he's the unsung hero of auto-tune and all the styles that people have or other rappers have to this day.
Yeah, but I just feel like I just wanted to kind of get on here and talk about this because I just feel like it frustrates me seeing certain artists just get hate for no reason. It's like the internet just always wants to see him fail no matter what. I just hate bandwagon narratives. Like I just hate when people are just hating just because it's cool. Right. Like I just, to me, it gets corny after a while. Especially because it's like you can tell these are people that don't really listen to the music. Right. Like these are people, the same people that are hating on an artist today because it's cool. They were listening to that artist and they were vibing to that music when that artist was up and that artist was relevant. Look, I promise you, the same people that hate on Polo now, the same people they were listening to Rap Star when it first came out.
Exactly. Now, I will tell you this.
Same thing with Lil Baby.
Another example is how people hate the Cowboys. Yeah. Like the thing is, the only reason why everybody hates the Cowboys as much as they do, because sometimes the fans can be obnoxious. It just depends on who you know. Like, and this is me defending Cowboys fans. As an Eagles fan, I really don't care no more because I done said all this stuff back on Facebook, and after that humiliating picture, you already know what's up. Y'all know what's up. My thing is, it's not even fun anymore to talk about them because everybody's just gonna say the same thing, that they suck or they're choke artists, they're this, that, and the third. Can't we just hush and just watch the game and enjoy You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and I'm saying this as an Eagles fan. So if y'all want to get in this comments and fight me, Eagles fans, please don't. But I'm just saying, like, it's to your credit, because a lot of people don't even listen to the songs and just want to write them off because based on what somebody else said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just there's no room for nuance and critical thinking on the internet when it comes to the music anymore. And I just cannot stand that, because it's just like, can y'all sit down and actually listen? Because I promise you, the people that probably was hating on, because he dropped a song called "Barely Holding On" last year that's actually on the new album, fire song. There were people in the comments saying stuff like, "Oh, barely holding on to her career." It's like, can you at least listen to the song and give it?
Right.
Because my thing is that it's not even about legit or valid criticism for the music. It's just more of just hating just to hate. It's just like, you can tell that person is literally just saying that for clicks and likes. It's like, actually listen to the music. Give it a chance.
Exactly. But in my honest opinion, it's a lot like this with the old heads, but in reverse.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean, they'll try to get on our generation of music, right? On how they, or subject matter wise, like, because the music nowadays, quality,
it's debatable.
It's debatable, but subject matter wise, when they talk about robbing, shooting, this, that, and the third, what was mostly posted out there for the world to see, they want to act like their era was so much better, like the 90s.
Like, it was more pure and it was more wholesome.
Exactly. Because I'm gonna put it like this. I done told you this many times. But the thing is, they want to talk about how Biggie and Pac, and Snoop Dogg and all that were so wholesome. Yeah, they were actually talking about realness and real this, that, and the third. No, they were talking about the same stuff that's being talked about to this day. The only difference with the music, and old heads, fight me on this. The only difference is the quality of music was better back then. I have no problem saying that. But you can't tell me that "Ready to Die" by Biggie was just a big, love letter to the streets and saying how, and trying to give kids life lessons and this, that, and the third. No, that album was about robbing, shooting, looting, and killing, just like everybody else. The only difference was there was a suicidal type song in there called "Suicidal Thoughts" in there. And another thing too,
there was ignorance. There was for sure ignorance back then when it comes to
exactly. You act like Uncle Luke wasn't even a thing. Don't stop, pop that. Let me see that brown.
So, but I think that speaks to a greater thing where it's like people just have like revisionist, and I think that ties into what we were discussing as far as like the internet hating the narratives, because people have revisionist history. Because like what people try to do is they try to rewrite an artist's legacy and rewrite an entire career just because one or two bad songs or albums came out. Oh, well, Lil Baby was never really that good, as if Lil Baby didn't spend the last 6 years on top.
Right.
Destroying it. Right. Widely praised as like the best upcoming rapper in the mainstream.
Right.
He dropped one album and now all of a sudden everybody has all this smoke. Oh, Lil Baby was never that good. Gunna was always that good. Or Gunna was always better than Baby, which he never was, which, we'll have that conversation at some point. Gunna has never been anywhere near as good as Lil Baby. I'll die on that hill.
I don't have a dog in that fight.
We'll talk about it, though.
Most definitely.
But it's just like Baby went from being the artist that everybody championed as one of the best up and coming, dropped one album, and now everybody's trying to rewrite his career narrative and say he was never really that good. Gunna was always better, which, like I said, Gunna to me has always been mid, but that's a whole different conversation. But like, I feel like it just speaks to just people just don't have their own ability to just think. They think in mass. They just think, in a hive mind sense. And I like that's just not a good thing for music, because it's like you gotta have nuance. You can't just be, oh, it's all trash or it's all fire. You gotta have some ability to critique in the middle and not just say mid when it comes to everything. Oh, it's mid. I can't stand that.
Because a lot of the time their opinions just be visceral. They don't even have a reason why that is bad. Why they think an album is bad. They just have a gut feeling. That's
just like, oh, it's trash.
Yeah, like why?
It's trash. They didn't even listen to the album like that.
Well, because I just have a feeling like, bro, this guy told me the other day that it was trash.
So I'm not even gonna listen to it.
Yeah, it's not even worth listening to. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Okay.
Which, say what you will about Fantano. I know a lot of people aren't necessarily the biggest fan of Fantano, but at least Fantano has the ability to be nuanced in his criticism.
Right. At least he'll give you an actual reason why he doesn't like it.
A lot of these people don't even give it. They'll listen to it, but they don't really take the time to sit down and actually open their mind up and listen objectively. It just be, I listened to it. You didn't really listen to it like that. You called it trash, 3 songs in, and then you dropped it. But that's nuanced listening, though.
Or you just played the song in your car and just
and didn't even take time to actually understand what was being said. Didn't even give a chance to actually be critical. Because the thing about albums and music a lot of the time is that sometimes it takes multiple listens to really grasp what the artist is trying to convey. So it's just when you sit here and you barely listen to it one time, of course it's not going to connect like that because you're not giving it a chance to.
Exactly.
You're being hard-headed.
It's kind of like reading the Rotten Tomatoes score on a movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And it says like 22%, but the audience score is like 87%.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of these other 90s movies, 90s black movies go through.
Oh, for sure.
Like this movie called The Inkwell, super underrated, but it's like kind of like that. People just gonna read the reviews real quick based on what somebody else said, and they don't even do the research for themselves. I mean, I'm guilty of this, like I said with the Chance the Rapper, The Big Day.
I've been guilty of that too. I'm not even gonna deny it.
But that doesn't mean I'm gonna just straight up hate on Chance just because he made one bad album, like you said.
Yeah.
Ain't no need to throw it like.
Ain't no need to there's no need to burn them at the stake because as a human being you make mistakes. You don't always make the best. But my thing is not to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But my thing is if this is somebody that. But my thing is when you see somebody switch and go from loving an artist to hating them, that means that they were never really a fan and they was just riding the wave anyway. Which the less amount of fans we have in the genre and just in general, the better, because I can't stand that kind of fan unfortunately dictates a lot of how these artists create now.
That part.
That's what I can't stand. The artist or the fan that isn't even really a fan has more power and has more say than the people that actually care about the genre. But I think that that's a whole different problem that we could probably talk about at some other given point.
Yeah, we definitely can, bro.
But yeah, it's just I just hate that these artists, their whole creative process and their whole artistic image and their career is dictated by these people that don't even care. They don't even care about the music. They just care about that song is fire, so I like that song because it's big and everybody likes it now. But when somebody says that they made a trash song, it's trash. So yesterday you was a Gunna fan, Well, matter of fact, not even. Yesterday you hated on Gunna because he snitched, and he said what he said about YSL, and he told to get out. He dropped that song. You can't say F you mean,
right?
And that's the song of the summer. Now all of a sudden you a Gunna fan,
right?
Again,
right. I mean,
you went from saying, I'm not playing that new Gunna in my car under no circumstances. He snitched. First of all, you from the suburbs. You don't know anything about street life. I don't either.
Me neither.
To be fair,
I don't know nothing about street life other than what was shown to me on the TV shows that I talked about on our TikTok.
Exactly. But it's I don't know nothing about the streets. You don't know nothing about the streets. But you were ready to die on the hill and say you're not listening to Gunna because he told. But then as soon as that song, dropped and that song was doing numbers, oh man, that new Gunna is tough. You heard that new Gunna? Oh, I thought he was a rapper. Man, we don't. Come on, man. Nah.
Right.
Man, I don't have nothing to do with nothing, man. Come on now. Come on, people. Be objective.
Right. Exactly. I agree, man. On this topic, man, I don't really got much else to say.
I really don't either. This was really kind of low key a rant, to be honest with you.
High key, it's true. I like ranting.
Yeah, for sure.
I want the next couple of videos to be rants.
But yeah, no. Shout out to Polo G new album Hood Poet. We may talk about it more so in depth. That or we'll make a TikTok, whatever the case may be. But I've listened to it a few times over. It's not bad. It's not his best work or anything, but I want people to give this album a legitimate chance. Please give the music a chance. Actually sit down and give it time and actually let it, sort of
marinate
before you just sit there and you just say, oh no, this is trash. Be objective with Polo G's album. Be objective with Roddy Ricch's album whenever it comes out. Ice Spice's album, that album, low key, it kind of deserves the hate that it got. I ain't gonna lie.
What you say? Where'd it go? How'd it do?
What do you mean?
It went double. I remember
it went double 10 for you. I ain't gonna lie. But she's an artist to where, like I said, honestly, I don't even think she cares that much about the music like that anyways. But that's, again, another discussion that I think we should have at some point. But yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and, kind of shed some light on this whole hating rappers trend and, why it's trash and it's bad for the genre and why, we need nuance. We need objectivity and nuance in hip hop again, as far as hip hop journalism, as far as the way we criticize and consume this music. I think the internet and social media has made everything so fast where it's like it's so microwavable now.
Right.
Like when Kendrick's album came out, everybody was like, "Oh, Kendrick fell off," and Kendrick, his album is trash. This, that, and the third, and it's just like
it was trash.
And it's like, come on, man! It's like, did y'all listen to this album? Because it's just like, did y'all sit down and actually give this album a chance? And did you listen to what he was trying to convey? That album was a masterpiece. But people are like, oh, well, it didn't have any bangers on it, so it was garbage.
I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna say that.
And
my thing is initially, I didn't think it was that. I didn't think it was that good, but I didn't think it was that bad either.
Yeah.
Initially, I thought like the first half of the album was fire. The second half was kind of okay, but the more I'm listening to it, the more everything is. A lot of it is starting to resonate with me. And it's starting to really come into its own. Like I started listening to Savior more. Same thing with Mother I Sober, and I'm like it kind of made me tear up.
Gets you a newfound appreciation, but that's what happens when you give it another chance and you go through multiple listens. Right. A lot of my favorite albums and songs of all time, I didn't love them when I first heard them.
Same.
A lot of my favorite songs are songs that grew on me over time, and that's just what happens when you give the music a chance. And, people actually sit with it and let it kind of digest and marinate. So please, people, be objective when it comes to, not even just in music, just in general, just media consumption. Let's try to be objective again, people. Don't just sit there and say an album is trash by an artist that, you've been brainwashing and hating by the internet. Form your own opinion.
Exactly.
That's all I'm asking you to do. Be objective. But that's pretty much all I got to say on this.
Same. Yeah.
All right. So this has been Rodney.
This has been Jay, man.
And we've been LATD. Peace.
Look at the details.